All right, let's talk about the Windows Taskbar. That little strip at the bottom of your screen you probably click 100 times a day, but barely even think about? Well, today that's all going to change. We are going to take that thing from a boring default into your own personal command center. So let's get right into it. Seriously, think about it for a second. The default taskbar is made for everybody, which means it's not really optimized for, well, you. It's usually cluttered with stuff you never use, and it's probably missing the shortcuts you're always digging around for. It's kind of like a one-size-fits-none solution. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just look at the difference. On the left, you've got that familiar, kind of messy default look, but on the right, that's the goal. It's clean, it's efficient, and it's built just for you. This is what we're going to build, step by step. Okay, first things first, let's get our hands dirty with some of the easy wins. We're going to start with the super basic settings that Windows gives you right out of the box. No downloads, no complicated hacks, just a few simple clicks to get you started. This is the most basic, but honestly one of the most powerful things you can do, pinning your favorite apps. If you're always searching for your web browser or your main work program, this is for you. You just find the app, right-click it, and smash that Pin to Taskbar button. Boom, done. And hey, if there's an icon you don't want, just right-click and unpin it. Take control of your space. So Windows 11 decided to center everything by default, which, love it or hate it, it was a big change. But you're not stuck with it. Just a quick hop into the taskbar settings, and you can pop everything right back over to the classic left alignment. It's all about what feels right for your workflow. And now for our first big cleanup. Let's get rid of all the noise. Microsoft likes to put a bunch of icons here. Search, widgets, task view, the chat icon. But do you actually use all of them every day? Probably not. Just head into the settings and flip the switch off for anything you don't need. Right away, your taskbar is going to feel so much cleaner. Okay, basics are down. Now we're going to level up a little bit. Let's dive into some of the less obvious, but way more powerful behavior settings that are hiding inside Windows. So what in the world are taskbar behaviors? Well, you can think of them as the taskbar's personality. These settings control how it acts and reacts to what you're doing. Does it get out of your way when you don't need it? Does it show you little notifications? This is where you get to fine-tune it to match how you work. Let me point out a few of the most useful ones. Automatically hide the taskbar. This is a game changer for getting more screen space. Show badges gives you those little red notification circles on your apps. If you have more than one monitor, showing the taskbar on all of them is an absolute must. And you know that tiny little button in the far corner to show the desktop? Yeah, you can turn that on or off right here. All right, you've mastered all the built-in stuff. Now it's time to break some rules. This is the pro level, where we bring in a few third-party tools to do things that Windows 11 just won't let you do on its own. This is probably the biggest complaint I hear about Windows 11. What if you like having your taskbar on the side of the screen? Or maybe you just prefer it at the top. With the default settings, you're totally out of luck. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is straight from Microsoft's own support page. They say it, plain and simple. So if you want to move it, you've got to look outside the box. But don't worry, the community has our back. So let's talk about two absolute heroes. First, there's Explorer Patcher. This thing is amazing. It restores a bunch of classic features, including, yes, the ability to move your taskbar. Then for looks, you've got Translucent TB. It's a tiny app that can make your taskbar totally clear or give it this really cool-looking blur effect. Okay, what's next on the wish list? Resizing the taskbar. Maybe you want it to be super tiny and minimal, or maybe you want bigger icons. Once again, Windows 11 hides this option from you. But there's a secret trick to bring it back. Whoa, okay, hold on. Before we go any further, I have to give you a really important warning. We are about to edit the Windows registry. This is like doing brain surgery on your computer. It is incredibly powerful, but if you mess something up, things can go very wrong. So please, always back up your registry first. Okay, you backed it up? Good. Here's the magic. You open up the registry editor, you find this specific folder path, and then you create a new value called taskbar side. Then you just set the number. 0 makes it small, 1 is the normal medium size, and 2 makes it large. Give your computer a quick restart, and bam, resize taskbar. So we've covered function, now let's get into fashion. This is where we put it all together, maybe add another tool or two, and create a desktop that looks like it's straight out of the future. So, what are we shooting for here? The goal is to get that super clean, super modern floating dock look. It's minimal, it's stylish, and it just gives your desktop a completely custom vibe. And the recipe for this is actually a pretty simple two-part combo. First, we use translucent TB, which we already talked about, to make the taskbar itself invisible. Then, you add a second app called Rounded TB. This little guy adds margins and rounds off the corners, which creates that awesome floating effect. So simple, but it looks amazing. And look, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole of customization, you have to check out Windhawk. Think of it like an app store for little tweaks and mods for Windows. You can change almost anything, and it's much safer than messing with core system files yourself. It is customization on a whole other level. So let's do a quick recap of our journey here. We started by mastering the absolute basics, pinning abs and changing the alignment. Then, we moved up to unlocking the built-in behaviors like auto-hiding. And finally, we unleashed the pro tools to move, resize, and totally restyle the taskbar into something that is 100% yours. The default taskbar is really just a starting point. It's a suggestion. Now you have the know-how and the tools to completely rebuild it to fit your needs, your workflow, and your own personal style. So the only question left is, what's your command center going to look like?
Thanks for watching. For more Windows tips, free ebooks, games, and software you will love, visit windowsmo.com and don't forget to subscribe.